Do you actually think that criminals feel a little bit sense of remorse? Often, when a crime happens, people would wonder if those who committed that crime even feel bad about it, which is a fair and a good question. But do they actually feel bad about it? Now, when you're talking about the feeling of remorse, it could be influenced by several things. Amongst them is an emotional awareness. Some individuals who've committed crime are actually not aware of whatever they've done. Like they've grown up in environments that is what they know. Maybe it's a violent environment. And with this accumulated feelings over time, you grow up knowing that that is the correct thing to do because no one was there to guide you that this is wrong, this is the right part, do this, don't do this. So most of criminals lack that. Hence, when they commit a crime, at that particular point, they honestly don't know. Another thing is justification. Individuals could commit a crime, but you feel like it was the right thing to do. Maybe somebody honestly wronged you in a bad way, and whatever you've decided to do after that, you feel like it's justified for you. It's okay. Like there's no problem with that. So most criminals actually are not emotionally aware, or they they just justify whatever they do like it's correct. But then how can this problem be solved? One of the things that we're not talk about is that is rarely talked about is delayed remorse. The feeling of remorse for criminals should be it is very critical because when you reach that point, like you know very well you're not supposed to do that. That is when you reach like your point that you know that you start becoming emotionally intelligent. Let me say that. So you feel emotionally intelligent, and what people don't talk about mostly is called the delayed remorse. At that particular point when a crime happens, you honestly feel like it had to, like whatever you did was the right thing, like whatever you did was justified, and that was only the call of action at that particular time. But it's important for criminals to be actually aware that whatever they did was wrong. And so, what people don't talk about is delayed remorse. Now, remorse doesn't come immediate for some people. Some people, after doing something, you immediately feel bad about it. But for some, especially if you grow up in that kind of environment, you're not emotionally aware of a lot of things, you feel like it can take time. It can take time to reach that point of realization that what we did or what I did was actually not wrong, and there could have been other ways to, solve this problem that is there. And once that point is reached, it's actually a very important aspect for that criminal because it means that change is available and change can happen and people can change for the better because at that particular point you're very self-aware. You know that whatever you did was wrong, and that is how we can help change the society. So if you're asking if criminals actually feel remorse, it can be yes or no. So it depends with the time because remorse doesn't come immediate for everyone. Remorse, people have different processes in which they take in the remorse. But the fact that even if it's delayed for 10 years, 20 years, 30, 50, but at that particular point you become aware that whatever you did was wrong. That is the change that you want, and that is the change that you're supposed to talk about, and that is the change you're supposed to encourage because that shows that anything is possible and people can actually change for the better.